Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing before a mirror, not just any mirror, but one that reflects the deepest truths of your soul. And as you look into it, you see yourself raw, real, unfiltered. The face staring back is not just skin and bone. It is courage. It is potential. It is the sum of every choice you've ever made, every dream you've ever whispered into the dark. Now, feel the weight of a simple question. Do you truly love yourself? Not in fleeting moments of pride, or when someone else validates you, not in the small, easy victories, but deep down, do you honor yourself with the same devotion, patience, and compassion that you give the world? If your heart hesitates, if that question stirs something restless inside you, then this journey is for you, because today we begin a path to radical self-love. A path where you learn to cherish yourself more fiercely than anyone else ever could. This is not a journey of vanity. It is a journey of survival, a journey of empowerment, a journey that will transform every corner of your life, starting with the one person you cannot live without, you. Chapter 1: The Foundation of Self-Love. Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet lake at dawn. The water is still, reflecting the first light of day, smooth and unbroken. You look into it and see yourself, not the version you show the world, not the one you wish you were, but the real you. Every flaw, every scar, every unspoken fear, and every hidden strength is there, shimmering beneath the surface. Now listen carefully. The most important voice you will ever hear is the one whispering back from that reflection. It asks one simple yet profound question. Do you honor yourself as you deserve? For most of us, the answer comes hesitantly. It trembles somewhere between the echoes of self-doubt and the fleeting moments of pride. We are quick to love others, partners, children, friends, colleagues, yet we hesitate when it comes to loving ourselves fully, without reservation. But here is the truth. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for everything in your life. Self-love is the foundation on which all happiness, all growth, all purpose is built. Self-love is not something you earn through achievement or approval. It is not found in the applause of others or in the validation of the world. It is a choice, a deliberate, daily decision to recognize your worth, to nurture your being, to protect your energy, and to embrace the fullness of who you are, both the light and the shadow. Think for a moment about the way you speak to yourself in private. Do you offer encouragement, kindness, and understanding, or do you criticize, doubt, and belittle? Every word you speak inwardly is a seed. Each thought you carry about yourself grows into the life you experience. Harshness and judgment will produce scarcity, fear, and hesitation. Compassion and acceptance will cultivate courage, confidence, and joy. Self-love begins with recognition. It begins with acknowledging that you have lived, that you have endured, that you have endured, that you have struggled and persevered. Every disappointment you faced, every failure you experienced, every heartbreak you survived. These are not weaknesses. They are proof of resilience. They are markers along the path of becoming who you were always meant to be. And yet recognition is not enough on its own. You must also give yourself permission to be tender, patient, and forgiving. For too long, you may have carried the weight of mistakes, regrets, and unmet expectations. You may have believed that self-criticism was motivation, that guilt was responsibility, that perfection was the only path to acceptance. But these beliefs are false. They are chains disguised as lessons, and they hold you back from the love that is waiting inside you. Imagine holding your own hand as you would a child in need of comfort. Feel the warmth, the reassurance, the unspoken promise that you will protect yourself, care for yourself, and honor yourself above all else. This is the first act of self-love, to choose yourself when the world is indifferent, to stand for your worth, even when others fail to recognize it. As you take this step, you will notice a subtle shift. A lightness begins to rise within your chest, a sense of alignment, a quiet confidence that you are, indeed, enough. And from this foundation, everything else in your life begins to change. Relationships shift, because you no longer seek approval or acceptance outside yourself. Opportunities present themselves, because you recognize and trust your own value. Challenges lose their power to diminish you, because you have become your own sanctuary, your own source of strength. Self-love is also a practice of attention. To truly love yourself, you must notice the small things, the moments when you bend over backward for others at your own expense, the times when you ignore your own needs, the choices that quietly diminish your energy. Awareness is the first step toward change. Each time you notice a pattern that does not serve you, you have the opportunity to redirect it with care, not with shame. Consider, too, the boundaries that self-love requires. Loving yourself means knowing when to say no, when to step back, when to protect your time, energy, and it means surrounding yourself with people, places, and practices that uplift and sustain you. It is not selfish to protect your heart. It is essential. Every act of boundary setting is a declaration. I am worthy of respect. I am worthy of care. I am worthy of love. And here is a truth that many of us overlook. Self-love is not passive. It is active. It is not waiting for life to treat you kindly before you accept your worth. It is choosing every day to honor your essence, to nurture your dreams, to hold yourself with compassion through every triumph and every setback. It is a practice, a ritual, a commitment that never ends, because your value is infinite, unchanging, and irreplaceable. So, as you take in these words, let them sink deeply. Feel the truth of them resonate in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. Recognize that this moment, right now, marks the beginning of something profound. The journey to self-love does not start with others. It starts with you. It starts with awareness, with compassion, with courage. And as you step forward, remember, this is not a fleeting exercise in affirmation. This is the foundation for everything that follows. The stronger your foundation, the higher you can rise, the more resilient you will become, and the more fully you will live. In the chapters to come, we will explore the ways to silence doubt, set boundaries, embrace your authenticity, forgive yourself, and cultivate joy from within. But for now, take a moment to breathe, to feel, to recognize that the single most important person in your life is standing right in front of you, reflected back in the mirror, in the quiet, in the very core of your being. That person is you. And from this moment, you have begun the most profound act of courage, the most transformative journey of your life, learning to love yourself more than anyone else ever could. And as you carry this awareness forward, feel the anticipation of what lies ahead, a deeper understanding, a bolder confidence, and a life infused with your own unwavering love are waiting just beyond this first step. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because the journey to radical, unshakable self-love is only just beginning. Chapter 2. The courage to be honest with yourself. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a room filled with mirrors. Each one reflects a different version of you, the person you show to the world, the version you imagine others want to see, and the private self you hide even from yourself. Now, imagine walking slowly through that room, stopping in front of each mirror. Some reflections feel familiar, others feel foreign, uncomfortable, even threatening. This is the moment where courage begins. The courage to see yourself clearly, the courage to confront the truths you've avoided for too long. Self-love is not built on illusions. It is built on honesty, the kind of honesty that feels raw, vulnerable, and transformative all at once. Ask yourself, what am I pretending not to feel? What am I hiding, denying, or avoiding? Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's regret. Maybe it's the quiet ache of unfulfilled dreams. Whatever it is, it has been quietly shaping your decisions, your energy, your sense of self-worth. And yet, the first step toward freedom, toward radical self-love, is to shine a light on it. Honesty with yourself is not easy. It requires courage to name your patterns, your mistakes, and your fears without flinching. It demands that you stop running from your emotions, stop dressing them up to make them more palatable, stop blaming others for the choices you made. Because here is the truth. The moment you embrace your own reality fully and without judgment, you reclaim power, you reclaim control over your life, you reclaim yourself. Think of a wound you've carried for years, perhaps a disappointment, a loss, or a decision that haunts you. When we hide it, when we avoid its presence, it continues to fester, draining our energy and shaping our actions in ways we may not even notice. But when we confront it with honesty, we begin the process of healing. The wound may remain, but it no longer defines us. It becomes a lesson, a teacher, a marker of resilience. Honesty also requires that we examine our relationships. Are you surrounding yourself with people who see and honor your truth? Or are you bending, hiding, and shrinking to maintain peace or approval? Often the bravest act of honesty is admitting to yourself that a relationship, no matter how long-standing or familiar, no longer serves your highest good. It is painful, yes, but every step you take toward authenticity is a step toward self-love. Consider the inner dialogues that have guided your life until now. How many of them are truly your own? How many are echoes of criticism, doubt, and expectation implanted by others? To be honest with yourself is to strip away these external voices and listen deeply to your own. Your intuition, your heart, your quiet knowing. These are the truest guides to self-love. They will never demand perfection. They will never require sacrifice of your peace. They will simply invite you to honor yourself fully. Self-love and honesty are inseparable. One cannot exist without the other. When you are honest with yourself about your needs, your desires, your boundaries, you begin to act in alignment with your true self. You stop seeking validation outside yourself. You stop pretending to be someone you are not. And in that space of authenticity, confidence begins to grow naturally. Think about the ways you may have hidden your true self in the past. Perhaps you silenced your opinions to avoid conflict. Perhaps you suppressed your passions because they felt impractical. Perhaps you accepted less than you deserved because you believed it was your lot in life. Now take a deep breath and imagine letting all of that go. Imagine standing fully in your truth, unafraid of judgment, unafraid of rejection. Imagine the freedom, the lightness, the clarity that comes from being unconditionally honest with yourself. Honesty does not mean harsh self-criticism. It is not an invitation to dwell on flaws or past mistakes. It is the courage to observe yourself without illusion, to accept your humanity, and to take responsibility for your life. It is the recognition that growth, freedom, and self-love begin with seeing yourself clearly, exactly as you are, and choosing to meet yourself with compassion. In your journey, you may encounter resistance. You may feel fear, shame, or guilt as old truths rise to the surface. This is normal. These emotions are not a signal to stop. They are a signal that something important is being revealed, something that has been waiting for your attention. Lean into it, sit with it, breathe through it, and remember that each moment of honesty is a seed planted for lasting transformation. Consider the power of saying to yourself, simply, I see you, I know you, I accept you. These words may feel small, almost fragile, but they carry enormous weight. They mark the first real step towards self-love that is grounded, unshakable, and enduring. They are a promise that no matter what you discover, you will meet yourself with kindness, not judgment. And here is the deeper truth. The more honest you are with yourself, the easier it becomes to live authentically with others. You stop pretending to please, to impress, or to fit into molds that never suited you. You attract people and experiences that resonate with your essence. You act from alignment rather than obligation, and life, once heavy with pretense and fear, begins to feel expansive, vibrant, and full of possibility. So now, as you sit with these reflections, take a moment to honor the courage it takes to be honest with yourself. Recognize that this is not a one-time act, but a lifelong practice. Each day offers a new opportunity to check in with your heart, to name your truths, and to meet yourself with compassion. As you step forward from this chapter, carry this awareness. Honesty is not only a tool for self-awareness, it is a gateway to deeper self-love, to inner freedom, and to a life that reflects the fullness of your being. The journey ahead will guide you to embrace boundaries, silence inner critics, and cultivate the self-respect that allows your heart to thrive. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because the path to radical self-love is illuminated not by denial or avoidance, but by courage. The courage to see yourself fully, honestly, and without compromise. Chapter 3. Setting boundaries without guilt. Imagine standing in a room filled with open doors. Each doorway represents an opportunity, a relationship, a responsibility, a request from someone or something outside yourself. You can step through any of them, but the truth is, not every door is meant for you. Not every path will honor your energy, your peace, or your sense of worth. And yet, so often, we feel compelled to walk through every door, to say yes to every call, to stretch ourselves thin in the name of duty, love, or fear of disappointing others. This is where self-love meets its first true challenge: boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are the gentle, firm lines that protect your heart, your mind, and your spirit. They are the acts of courage that declare, "I will not sacrifice my well-being for the comfort of others." Think about a time when you said yes, even though every fiber of your being wanted to say no. Perhaps it was a favor, a commitment, or a conversation that left you drained and resentful. Each of these moments is a signal, a whisper from your inner self saying, "You are worth protecting." Ignoring it may feel easier in the moment, but over time it erodes self-respect, peace, and confidence. Boundaries begin with awareness. You must notice what drains you, what energizes you, what aligns with your values, and what does not. They require honesty, a willingness to examine your limits, to acknowledge when you have given too much or allowed others to overstep. And they demand courage, because saying no, even kindly, may trigger discomfort or conflict. But here is the truth. Every time you honor your limits, you reinforce the message that you are worthy of respect. Setting boundaries is also a practice of self-trust. When you recognize your needs and communicate them clearly, you teach yourself that your voice matters. You teach the world how to treat you, and you discover something profound. People who truly value you will not retreat in the face of your boundary. Instead, they will respect them, because your clarity shows them the integrity and depth of your self-love. Consider the boundaries that are invisible yet silently imposed in your life. Perhaps you allow interruptions that fracture your focus. Perhaps you accept criticism that diminishes your confidence. Perhaps you take on responsibilities that belong to others. Each time you cross these invisible lines, you dilute your energy, your presence, and your power. Recognizing them is the first step toward reclaiming yourself. Boundaries also create space for your dreams, your creativity, your peace, and your growth. When you protect your time and energy, you are not limiting yourself. You are expanding your capacity to thrive. Imagine a garden without clear borders and care. It becomes overrun, choked, and unproductive. But when you tend it, define its edges, and nurture it with attention, it blossoms. Your life is your garden. Boundaries are the tending hands that allow it to flourish. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is overcoming guilt. Many of us equate saying no with selfishness. We fear rejection, conflict, or the disappointment of others. But this guilt is a false narrative. Self-love is not a zero-sum game. Saying no to protect your well-being does not make you unkind or unloving. It makes you human. It makes you wise. It creates the conditions for healthier, more authentic connections. Begin small. Identify one area in your life where you feel stretched too thin. Perhaps it's a recurring obligation, a draining friendship, or a habit of overcommitting. Take a deep breath and consider what it would look like to say no, not harshly, not angrily, but clearly, kindly, and firmly. Visualize the relief, the clarity, and the respect that emerges when you honor yourself first. Boundaries are also about the subtle choices you make every day, saying yes when your heart aligns and saying no when it does not. Speaking up when you feel unheard, stepping back when you feel depleted. Every act of boundary setting is a declaration of self-worth. Every act is a seed of empowerment, planting the roots of confidence, resilience, and inner peace. As you practice boundaries, you will notice something remarkable. Your relationships transform. They become more honest, more balanced, and more nourishing. The energy you invest flows more freely into people and projects that honor your essence. The guilt that once haunted you begins to fade, replaced by a quiet, steady sense of integrity. You are no longer fragmented by overextension or fear. You are whole, centered, and aligned with your true self. And yet boundaries are not static. They evolve as you grow. What felt right yesterday may no longer serve you today. What once required courage may become natural. This is the ongoing practice of self-love, tuning in to your needs, honoring your limits, and moving through life with awareness and care. Take a moment to reflect. Imagine the freedom that comes from clear, confident boundaries. Imagine the lightness in your chest when you no longer carry the weight of obligations that are not yours. Imagine the joy of living fully in alignment with your values, your energy, and your deepest truths. This is not a distant dream. It begins with one choice, one no, one act of courage that protects your heart. So as you step forward from this chapter, carry this truth with you. Self-love is not passive. It is not silent. It is an active, conscious, daily commitment to honor yourself in thought, word, and action. Boundaries are the first, most profound expression of this love. They are the gatekeepers of your peace, the pillars of your confidence, and the path to a life that truly reflects the worth you hold within. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because ahead, you will learn how to silence the inner critic, that relentless voice that undermines your worth, and replace it with the clarity, compassion, and confidence that allows self-love to thrive without restraint. Chapter 4: Silencing the Inner Critic. Close your eyes and imagine a voice that follows you everywhere. It speaks softly at first, almost imperceptibly, then grows louder, insistent, unrelenting. It comments on your choices, critiques your appearance, questions your worth, and whispers doubts when you try to step forward. For many of us, this voice is constant, a companion we neither invited nor welcome. Yet somehow it has shaped the way we live, the way we dream, and the way we love ourselves. This is the inner critic, the relentless judge that convinces us we are not enough. It tells us our dreams are too big, our efforts are too small, our mistakes unforgivable, and it is cunning because it disguises itself as caution, as reason, as responsibility. It convinces us that self-love is a luxury, that kindness toward ourselves is weakness. But here is the truth. This voice is not you. It is a habit, a collection of fears, doubts, and external judgments you absorbed over time. It is a pattern, not a verdict. And the first step in silencing it is awareness, noticing when it speaks, without judgment, without resistance. Recognize its presence. Name it. Give it space. but do not give it power. Consider the impact of this voice in your daily life. How many opportunities have you avoided because of it? How many words have you left unsaid? How many risks unexplored because the critic told you, you can't, you won't, you're not ready? Each of these moments is a quiet erosion of self-love. Each is a reminder that the critic thrives in silence and submission. Silencing the inner critic does not mean ignoring it completely. It means learning to respond with compassion, curiosity, and clarity. When the voice says you are not capable, pause and ask, is this true? Is this helpful? When it whispers you are unworthy, answer gently, I am enough. I am learning. I am growing. You are not silencing with force. You are redirecting with love. Visualize a garden overrun by weeds. The inner critic is like those weeds, spreading quickly and choking the life out of the soil. Pulling them out carelessly can damage the roots of your garden. But when you remove them deliberately, with attention and care, the soil becomes fertile, the flowers bloom, and your garden thrives. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your inner dialogue. These are the soil of your mind. Tend them carefully. Feed them with kindness, truth, and encouragement. It is also important to notice the triggers of the inner critic. Often it appears when we compare ourselves to others, when we step outside our comfort zones, or when we attempt something meaningful and new. Recognizing these triggers allows us to prepare, to pause, and to choose a different response. You are not powerless in these moments. You are learning to reclaim your narrative, to speak your truth, and to honor yourself in the face of fear. The inner critic often thrives on repetition. It gains strength from unchallenged thoughts and unexamined beliefs. Each time you question it, you weaken its hold. Each time you speak to yourself with compassion and clarity, you plant seeds of self-trust and confidence. Over time, these seeds grow into a resilient inner voice, one that encourages, uplifts, and guides, rather than condemn. Think of a moment in your life when you achieved something meaningful, yet immediately dismissed it, minimized it, or doubted your ability. That is the inner critic at work. Now imagine responding differently. Imagine pausing, taking a breath, and saying, I see what I accomplished. I honor my effort. I am proud of myself. That simple act is revolutionary. It shifts your inner landscape, transforming fear into courage, judgment into compassion, doubt into self-trust. Silencing the critic is not a one-time event. It is a practice. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. Some days the voice will be louder, more insistent. Other days, it will be quieter, almost imperceptible. Your role is to meet it consistently, with awareness, redirecting its energy toward truth and empowerment. And here is the most profound truth. As you quiet this inner voice, you create space for your authentic self to emerge. You create space for your authentic self to emerge. Your creativity, your courage, your joy, these have been waiting quietly behind the shadows of self-doubt. Each moment of silence, each gentle redirection, each compassionate reply is a step toward the fullness of who you are meant to be. Imagine waking up one morning with the critic's voice, softened, no longer dictating your choices or limiting your vision. You feel lighter, freer, more alive. You take action without hesitation, speak your truth without fear, and pursue your dreams with clarity and confidence. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural result of consistent practice, of choosing love over judgment, truth over fear. So as you carry this insight forward, understand that self-love grows strongest when the inner critic is acknowledged, yet not obeyed. Its presence is a signal, not a sentence. Each time you redirect it with kindness, each time you affirm your worth, each time you stand tall in your truth, you strengthen the foundation of a life lived fully, authentically, and courageously. As we move into the next chapter, you will learn to embrace your authenticity, to step fully into who you are, unapologetically, and without compromise. The silence you create within is the space where your true self can flourish, where self-love becomes an unshakable force in your life. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because the journey is not about perfection or control. It is about courage, clarity, and the freedom to live as your most authentic self. Chapter 5. Embracing your authentic self. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff at sunrise. The wind brushes against your skin, fresh and unrestrained, carrying the scent of possibility. Below, the world stretches out in all its vastness, waiting for your step. You realize that for too long you have been walking carefully, tiptoeing through life, shaping yourself to fit expectations, masks, and judgments that were never truly yours. Today, that ends. This chapter is about authenticity, the courage to step fully into who you are, without apology, without compromise. Authenticity is not an act. It is not performance. It is a deep, unshakable alignment between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It is living in a way that honors your truth, even when it challenges the expectations of others. Consider the ways you have hidden yourself in the past. Perhaps you silenced your opinions to avoid conflict. Perhaps you dimmed your creativity to fit in. Perhaps you convinced yourself that your dreams were too big, or your voice too small. Every compromise chipped away at your sense of self, leaving a quiet ache that whispered, "You are not fully seen, you are not fully free." Embracing your authentic self begins with awareness. You must first notice the layers you have built, the masks, the habits, the stories that keep you small. And then, with courage, you begin to peel them away, layer by layer. This is not instantaneous. It is a process, sometimes uncomfortable, but profoundly liberating. Each revelation brings clarity. Each act of truth frees energy that was previously bound by fear and pretense. Authenticity also demands that you confront fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. These fears are natural, but they are not your enemy. They are signposts, pointing to the areas where your courage is needed most. Every time you act authentically despite fear, you reinforce your own worth. You teach yourself that being true to yourself is more important than approval from others. Think of authenticity as a conversation with the world that begins within. When you speak, act, and choose from a place of truth, your life becomes a reflection of your inner alignment. Relationships shift because you are no longer seeking validation or approval. Work becomes meaningful because your actions are guided by passion and integrity. And most importantly, your self-love deepens because you are living in service to yourself, not to the expectations of the world. A critical aspect of embracing your authentic self is forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for the times you did not live fully, for the moments you compromised, for the days you doubted your worth. Self-compassion is the foundation upon which authenticity grows. Without it, the pursuit of being true to yourself can become harsh or judgmental. With it, every misstep becomes a lesson, every fear an opportunity, every day a new canvas on which to paint your life. Consider the power of choice in authenticity. Every moment presents an opportunity to align with your truth, to speak openly, to act courageously, to honor your feelings, and to reject pretense. These choices may seem small, but they accumulate. They form habits of integrity, courage, and self-respect. They shape a life that resonates with your deepest essence, not with the scripts written by others. Authenticity also attracts the right energy into your life. People, opportunities, and experiences that align with your true self will naturally gravitate toward you. Inauthentic connections, those built on convenience, fear, or pretense, will naturally fall away. This process may feel lonely at times, but it is a necessary purification. By standing firmly in your truth, you make space for relationships and experiences that uplift, inspire, and honor your soul. Let us imagine a moment. You say what you feel, without hesitation. You pursue what excites you without apology. You show up fully, even when it feels vulnerable. That moment, small as it may seem, is a victory. It is proof that the power to live authentically resides within you, and each subsequent act of truth reinforces your confidence, deepens your self-love, and solidifies your foundation for a life that is rich, meaningful, and aligned. Authenticity is not perfection. It is not about never making mistakes or always knowing the right answer. It is about being real, human, and present. It is about acknowledging your flaws and strengths alike, and choosing to live in harmony with both. When you embrace this, self-love becomes effortless. Your worth is no longer conditional on success, approval, or performance. It is inherent, unchanging, and radiant. As you move forward, remember, the world may resist your authenticity. Some may misunderstand, some may criticize, some may attempt to pull you back into conformity. Stand firm. Trust yourself. The more you live in alignment with your truth, the less the opinions of others will sway you. Authenticity is not rebellion for its own sake. It is loyalty to yourself, and loyalty to yourself is the ultimate act of love. Take a moment to breathe deeply and feel the weight of these words. Imagine living a day entirely in alignment with your truth. Imagine the freedom, the joy, the vitality that comes from showing up fully as yourself. This is the life self-love promises, a life where your choices, your actions, and your heart are unified. As we step into the next chapter, we will explore the transformative power of forgiveness. Forgiving not just others, but yourself. Forgiveness is the companion to authenticity, clearing the space for your true self to shine without hesitation, without regret, and without the weight of past mistakes. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because embracing authenticity is only the beginning. Ahead lies the profound freedom and peace that come from forgiving, releasing, and loving yourself wholly. Chapter 6. The Power of Forgiveness. Close your eyes and picture a river, flowing freely, unburdened, carrying everything it touches with gentle ease. Now imagine trying to swim in that river while carrying a heavy, jagged stone in your chest. That stone is the weight of unforgiveness toward yourself, toward others, toward moments in your past that still sting. Every day you carry it, it drags you down, slowing your movement, clouding your clarity, and dimming your joy. This chapter is about releasing that stone. Forgiveness is not a suggestion, it is a necessity. It is the key that unlocks freedom, the bridge that reconnects you to your own heart. And let me be clear, forgiveness is not about condoning wrongs, nor is it about forgetting. It is about reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your capacity to love yourself fully. Consider the times you have held grudges, the anger, the resentment, the quiet simmering that lingered in your thoughts. Perhaps it was a betrayal, a harsh word, a missed opportunity, or a relationship that ended painfully. Each time you replay these moments in your mind, you relive the pain, feeding it, allowing it to grow. But forgiveness, real forgiveness, is the act of stepping out of that cycle. It is choosing not to let the past dictate the fullness of your present. Start with yourself. How often have you blamed yourself for mistakes, for choices made in fear, ignorance, or confusion? How often have you carried guilt like a chain around your heart, punishing yourself silently? Self-forgiveness is the first and most essential step. It is the recognition that you acted with the understanding you had at the time, and that you are capable of learning, growing, and evolving. Forgiveness toward others follows naturally, but it, too, requires courage. It may feel counterintuitive to release resentment when someone has hurt you deeply. You may fear that letting go is surrender, that it diminishes the reality of what happened. But in truth, holding on keeps the wound alive. Forgiveness is not erasing the past. It is reclaiming your future. It is saying, I will not allow your actions to steal my peace or define my worth. Imagine carrying an invisible backpack filled with stones, each one labeled with a person, an event, or a regret. Each step you take is heavier, slower, harder. Forgiveness is the act of opening that backpack, removing each stone, and setting it down gently by the riverbank. The river carries it away naturally, effortlessly, and in that moment you feel lighter, freer, more whole. Forgiveness also transforms your relationship with yourself. When you forgive your past choices, you create space for growth. Without shame, you acknowledge your humanity and embrace your imperfections as part of the journey. This self-compassion is the foundation of authentic self-love, because you learn that your value is not contingent on perfection. Your worth is inherent, unconditional, and ever-present. A profound part of forgiveness is letting go of expectations, the imagined scenarios, the what-ifs, the desire for apologies or justice that may never come. Holding on to these only keeps you tethered to pain. Releasing them is not weakness, it is strength. It is an act of sovereignty, a declaration that your inner peace matters more than anyone else's validation or acknowledgement. Consider how much energy is freed when resentment is released. Emotional space opens up, clarity emerges, and you become more present to yourself and those who truly matter. Forgiveness allows love, joy, and creativity to flow where bitterness once lived. It allows you to respond to life from abundance, not scarcity, from presence, not reaction. Forgiveness is also a practice, not a single event. Some days old hurts resurface. Some moments trigger deep-seated anger or sadness. On these days, the choice to forgive must be renewed. With practice, the act of forgiveness becomes more natural, more effortless. It becomes a habit of the heart, a constant return to peace, and a reaffirmation of your commitment to self-love. Visualize the transformation that comes from this practice. You wake in the morning lighter, freer, and unburdened. Your thoughts are no longer tethered to past pain. Your decisions are guided by clarity and purpose, not by fear or resentment. Your relationships are richer, more authentic, because you engage from a place of presence and understanding rather than unresolved tension. Forgiveness is not only liberation, it is empowerment. It restores control over your emotional landscape, allowing you to choose how you respond to life, rather than reacting out of pain or habit. It reminds you that your heart is yours to protect, nurture, and honor. And it reinforces the truth that self-love grows most fully when the weight of past wounds is released. As we step forward from this chapter, carry this awareness. Every act of forgiveness toward yourself or others is a step toward freedom. It is an affirmation that your peace, your joy, and your self-worth matter. The path of self-love is not complete without forgiveness, because it clears the space for authenticity, courage, and true connection to flourish. Turn the page, step into the next chapter. Ahead, you will explore the transformative power of gratitude, a practice that amplifies love for yourself, invites abundance, and anchors you in the beauty and fullness of the present moment. Chapter 7. Cultivating Gratitude as Self-Love. Imagine waking each morning to the soft light of dawn, the air fresh with possibility, the world holding its quiet promise for the day ahead. And yet, so often, we rush past it, caught in lists, worries, or the weight of what we believe we lack. In those moments, we forget the simplest, most profound act of self-love, gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite acknowledgement of good fortune. It is a deliberate, powerful choice to notice, honor, and cherish the gifts already present in our lives and in ourselves. This chapter is about making gratitude the heartbeat of your self-love practice. Gratitude shifts your perspective, turning your focus from scarcity to abundance, from what is missing to what is present. It teaches you to recognize your inherent worth, not as a conditional reward for accomplishments or approval, but as a constant, unchanging truth. Consider the small, often overlooked details of your life: the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the rhythm of your breath, the resilience that has carried you through difficult moments. These are not trivial. They are proof of your endurance, your capacity to experience joy, your connection to life itself. Gratitude invites you to pause, to notice, and to honor these moments, and through that acknowledgement, self-love grows stronger. Gratitude is also a mirror. When you consciously appreciate your strength, your efforts, your courage, you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of love and care. It is easy to overlook your own victories, to diminish the significance of your perseverance, or to criticize your perceived shortcomings. Gratitude challenges that habit. It invites you to celebrate yourself, to recognize your growth, and to affirm your value daily. Begin simply. Each day, take a moment to list 3 things you are grateful for about yourself. Perhaps it is your creativity, your patience, your kindness, or your resilience. Perhaps it is your ability to face challenges, or your willingness to learn from mistakes. The act of naming these qualities is transformative. It trains your mind to focus on what nourishes you, rather than what diminishes you. Gratitude is not a denial of struggle. It is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is, instead, the conscious acknowledgement that even within challenges, there are lessons, strength. When you cultivate gratitude, you recognize that hardships do not define you. They refine you. They become part of the tapestry of your life, not chains that hold you back. Consider how gratitude interacts with your relationship. When you honor the efforts, kindness and love in your life, including the way you treat yourself, your connections deepen. You no longer seek validation because you are already affirming your worth internally. Your interactions become richer, more authentic, and more aligned with the love you have cultivated within yourself. Gratitude is also an anchor. Life is unpredictable, filled with moments of uncertainty, fear, and disappointment. When you practice gratitude consistently, you create a foundation of stability within. You remind yourself that no matter what unfolds outside, there is always something within to appreciate, to honor, and to love. This inner compass becomes your source of peace, resilience, and confidence. Visualize a garden, vibrant and flourishing, each plant nourished by sunlight and water. Gratitude is the sunlight that sustains your inner garden. Without it, even the strongest seeds struggle to grow. With it, every aspect of your being, your joy, your courage, your love, your creativity, blossoms fully. Every act of gratitude strengthens your roots, ensuring that you remain steady and vibrant, even in challenging seasons. Another key aspect of gratitude is mindful presence. Often, we live in anticipation of the future or reflection on the past, missing the beauty of the present moment. Gratitude trains your awareness, inviting you to experience life as it unfolds, moment by moment. Each breath, each thought, each feeling becomes a gift, a source of nourishment for your mind and heart. Gratitude also transforms your relationship with self-criticism. When the inner critic rises, you can counter it with acknowledgement of what you have done well, what you have learned, and how far you have come. Gratitude softens judgment and builds resilience. It is not naive optimism. It is grounded in intentional recognition of your value and your progress. Imagine carrying a notebook, and each day you write down a line about yourself that you appreciate. Over weeks and months, you return to these lines and witness your own growth, your own perseverance, and your own worth. This simple ritual is profound. It rewires your mind, reinforces self-love, and creates a reservoir of affirmation that you can draw upon whenever doubt arises. As gratitude becomes a habit, it shapes not only how you see yourself, but how you interact with the world. You approach life with openness, curiosity, and kindness. You notice abundance where others see lack. You find beauty in ordinary moments. And most importantly, you cultivate a deep, unshakable connection to yourself, a recognition that you are deserving of love, care, and appreciation simply for. So as you carry this lesson forward, remember that self-love is not solely about action or achievement. It is also about reflection, presence, and appreciation. Gratitude is a daily practice, a lens through which life appears richer, fuller, and more meaningful. When you cultivate it, you reinforce your own worth, honor your journey, and invite peace, joy, and fulfillment into every moment. Turn the page. Step into the next chapter. Ahead, we will explore the importance of nourishing your body, mind, and soul. A practice that transforms self-love from an idea into a living, breathing reality. Because love for yourself is not only emotional, it is tangible, embodied, and reflected in every choice you make for your well-being. Chapter 8. Nourishing your body, mind, and soul. Imagine your body as a finely tuned instrument, delicate yet resilient, capable of producing a symphony of strength, vitality, and presence. Now imagine trying to play that instrument while it is neglected, strings unadjusted, keys unpolished, rhythm unsettled. The music falters, the melody stumbles, and the beauty within remains unheard. Self-love, at its deepest level, requires tending to this instrument, your body, your mind, and your soul. This chapter is about nourishment, the conscious practice of caring for yourself in ways that honor every part of your being. It is the understanding that self-love is not abstract. It is lived, felt, and embodied. Your thoughts, your energy, your actions, and your health are all reflections of how deeply you value yourself. When you nourish these areas, self-love becomes tangible, visible, and unshakable. Let us begin with the body, the vessel through which life flows. The way you treat your body sends a powerful message. It either says, "I am worthy of care and respect," or "I am expendable, unimportant." Nourishment here is not punishment or obsession with appearance. It is mindful attention, feeding your body wholesome, life-giving foods, moving it in ways that feel joyful and freeing, resting it when it calls for rest, and listening to its signals without judgment. Every choice you make, from hydration to sleep to gentle movement, reinforces a profound truth. Your body is sacred, and caring for it is an act of love. Next is the mind, the crucible of your thoughts, beliefs, and creativity. A nourished mind is cultivated with intentionality. It is fed by curiosity, challenged by learning, soothed by reflection, and freed from toxic patterns of self-criticism. Consider the books you read, the conversations you engage in, the media you consume. Are they uplifting, inspiring, and expanding your awareness? Or are they eroding your confidence, filling you with doubt, or distracting you from your truth? Nourishing your mind means surrounding yourself with clarity, insight, and inspiration that uplift your spirit and sharpen your discernment. And then there is the soul, the invisible thread connecting all that you are. Nourishing your soul is perhaps the most subtle, yet most transformative aspect of self-love. It is found in moments of stillness, in meditation, in walks through nature, in music that moves you, in creativity that expresses the depths of your heart. Soul nourishment reminds you of your purpose, your connection to life, and your inherent worth beyond action, achievement, or approval. It is the whisper that says, "You are enough, here and now, simply for being." Many of us unknowingly prioritize the needs of others over our own, pouring from an empty cup. But self-love requires the courage to put yourself first in healthy, balanced way. Nourishment is not selfishness, it is stewardship. You cannot pour into the lives of others if your own body, mind, and soul are depleted. Caring for yourself ensures that your presence in the world is vibrant, sustainable, and aligned with your true essence. Practical nourishment begins with routine and intention. Small, consistent actions create powerful, lasting. Drinking enough water, moving your body, journaling your thoughts, practicing mindfulness, spending time in nature, and creating space for reflection are simple yet profound ways to feed yourself. Each act reinforces your value, strengthens your resilience, and affirms your right to a life of vitality and joy. Nourishment also involves boundaries. Protecting your energy is essential. Saying no to what drains you, limiting exposure to negativity, and choosing environments and relationships that support your well-being are not acts of avoidance. They are deliberate steps towards sustaining your inner harmony. When you honor your boundaries, you communicate to yourself and the world that your well-being matters. Visualize your life as a garden. Each seed your body, mind, and soul requires sunlight, water, and care to flourish. Neglect any one of these, and growth is stunted. Nourish them equally, and your garden blooms with resilience, creativity, and joy. You will find that when one area thrives, it supports the others, creating a holistic, radiant expression of self-love. Another crucial aspect is listening. Your body, mind, and soul communicate constantly. Your body speaks through fatigue, tension, or vitality. Your mind communicates through focus, confusion, or curiosity. Your soul speaks in whispers of intuition, inspiration, or longing. Learning to listen deeply and respond with care transforms nourishment from a mechanical routine into a dialogue, a partnership with yourself that is grounded in respect, attention, and love. As nourishment becomes a practice rather than a task, you begin to notice shifts in your life. Your energy becomes steadier, your focus sharper, your emotional resilience stronger. You respond to challenges from a place of alignment rather than reactivity. You begin to radiate a quiet confidence that comes not from external validation, but from the knowledge that you are actively tending to your own well-being. Ultimately, nourishing yourself is a celebration of life and of self. It is a recognition that you are deserving of care, attention, and love in every form: physical, mental, and spiritual. Each conscious choice to nurture yourself is a declaration: I am worthy, I am alive, I am enough. As we move to the next chapter, we will explore the art of setting healthy, empowering boundaries. Boundaries are the natural continuation of nourishment. They protect the space you have cultivated, allowing your self-love to thrive unimpeded. They teach the world how to treat you while reinforcing your own respect for yourself. Turn the page, step into the next chapter, because true self-love is not just about internal reflection, it is about creating a life that supports, protects, and honors every part of who you are. Chapter 9. The Art of Setting Boundaries. Picture a garden, lush and vibrant, filled with flowers, trees, and streams of sunlight. Now imagine a wall, carefully constructed around this garden. It is not a prison, it is protection. It ensures that the delicate blooms can thrive without being trampled or overshadowed. Boundaries, in the landscape of self-love, function in the same way. They are not barriers born of fear, but protective structures built from respect for yourself, your energy, and your peace. From the very first moment you start to love yourself more than anyone else, you will notice that the world pushes. It tests the limits of your patience, your generosity, and your presence. People may take advantage of your kindness. Circumstances may demand more than you can give, and old habits of people-pleasing can surface like shadows from the past. Boundaries are the conscious choice to honor your limits, to protect your well-being, and to maintain your inner equilibrium. Many of us have been conditioned to think that saying no is selfish. Yet, true self-love requires a different perspective. Saying no is not rejection, it is affirmation. It is saying to yourself, I matter, my time, energy, and emotional health are valuable. Boundaries allow you to give from abundance rather than depletion. They create space for generosity that is conscious and sustainable, rather than reactive or resentful. Setting boundaries begins with awareness. Notice where you feel drained, resentful, or overwhelmed. These sensations are signals that your limits are being crossed. They are not signs of weakness or inadequacy. They are indicators of what you need to honor in order to preserve your integrity and self-respect. Boundaries are not a negotiation with your soul. They are a declaration of its sacredness. Consider relationships. We often bend, compromise, or sacrifice in the hope of acceptance or love. While compromise is natural in human connection, sacrifice at the expense of your well-being erodes self-love. Healthy boundaries teach others how to engage with you respectfully. They define the space in which authentic, mutual, and nourishing relationships can flourish. When boundaries are clear, your presence in any relationship is deliberate, confident, and empowered. Boundaries are equally essential in your personal habits and choices. They determine how you spend your time, where you focus your energy, and what you allow into your mental and emotional space. They are the invisible fences that prevent distraction, negativity, and toxicity from creeping into your life. Without boundaries, even the most well-intentioned acts of self-love can be undermined by constant intrusion and external demand. It is also crucial to remember that boundaries are not fixed walls. They are flexible frameworks. They evolve as you grow, your needs change, and your awareness deepens. A boundary that served you yesterday may need adjustment today. This fluidity is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. It reflects your ability to respond consciously to life, while maintaining integrity and self-respect. Practical boundary setting begins with clarity. Decide what is acceptable and what is not in your life. Communicate your limits calmly, respectfully, and firmly. Practice repetition if needed. Healthy boundaries are reinforced through consistency. Understand that discomfort is natural. Some people may resist your new limits, but this resistance is not a reflection of your failure. It is merely the friction of change, the ripple effect of your growth. Visualize boundaries as the roots of a tree. They anchor you firmly, giving you stability and nourishment, while allowing your branches to reach toward the sun. The tree does not shrink because it holds its ground. It grows stronger, more resilient, and capable of withstanding storms. Likewise, boundaries anchor your self-love, protect your energy, and empower you to flourish in every area of your life. Another aspect of boundaries is self-compassion. Setting limits is an act of kindness to yourself. It is a recognition that your life, time, and emotions are precious. It does not make you rigid or unapproachable. It makes you clear, centered, and authentic. Boundaries are a mirror of your respect for yourself, and by extension, they teach others to respect you as well. Remember that boundary setting is a practice, not a one-time event. There will be moments of hesitation, guilt, or doubt. There will be people who test, challenge, or resist your limits. These moments are opportunities to reinforce your commitment to yourself, to respond from clarity rather than fear, and to honor your inner voice above all else. Each act of boundary setting strengthens your self-respect and fortifies your sense of empowerment. As you integrate boundaries into your life, you will notice a profound shift. You will feel lighter, freer, and more grounded. Your energy will be preserved for what truly matters. Your relationships will become more authentic, based on mutual respect rather than obligation. Your inner voice, that quiet compass of self-love, will grow louder and clearer, guiding you toward choices that honor your well-being, purpose, and boundaries are not just about keeping negativity out. They are about creating a fertile space for your self-love to grow, expand, and radiate. They are the scaffolding that supports your transformation, allowing you to step fully into the life you deserve, a life aligned with your worth and truth. Turn the page. The final chapter awaits, a culmination of everything we have explored so far. In the next chapter, we will integrate all these practices into a life of unshakable self-love, resilience, and fulfillment. You are on the edge of completing this transformative journey, ready to embody the love, strength, and freedom you have been cultivating all along. Chapter 10. Living fully in self-love. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast, open horizon. The sun rises gently, spilling golden light across everything it touches. The air is crisp, filled with possibility, and the world stretches before you with endless potential. This is the moment where self-love becomes more than an idea, more than a practice. This is the moment where it becomes your life, fully, boldly, unapologetically. In this chapter, we bring everything together. We integrate the lessons, practices, and realizations you have cultivated on this journey, transforming them into a life lived with deep, unwavering self-respect and love. Self-love is not a destination. It is the path, the compass, and the very air you breathe. It is the way you move through your days, the choices you make, and the energy you bring to yourself and the world. Living fully in self-love begins with presence. It is choosing to inhabit your own life, rather than existing on autopilot or through the expectations of others. It is feeling the texture of your experiences, savoring moments of joy, and embracing even the difficult ones with curiosity and grace. Presence allows you to witness your thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, to honor your story without being trapped by it. Courage is a companion to presence. Loving yourself deeply requires bravery. It means showing up as your true self, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. It means asserting your needs, pursuing your dreams, and expressing your heart honestly. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to act despite fear, trusting in your worth, and believing that you deserve all the beauty life has to offer. Another essential element is gratitude, not as a fleeting thought, but as a deliberate lens through which you view your life. Gratitude amplifies self-love by shifting focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. It teaches you to honor your body, your mind, your soul, and the simple gifts of each day. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones, and it reminds you that self-love is not about perfection, but appreciation and acceptance of your journey exactly as it is. Living in self-love also means embracing your imperfections. Perfectionism is a thief of joy, a barrier that keeps you from seeing your inherent value. When you accept yourself fully, your strengths, your mistakes, your quirks, you free yourself from judgment and comparison. This acceptance is not passive. It is an active recognition that you are whole, complete, and deserving simply because you exist. Your worth is not earned, it is inherent. Connection is another powerful expression of self-love. When you love yourself, you naturally cultivate relationships that honor and reflect that love. You attract people who resonate with your energy, who respect your boundaries, and who celebrate your growth. At the same time, self-love allows you to release relationships that no longer serve your highest good, with compassion rather than resentment. It is not about isolation, it is about creating a network of support and authenticity that mirrors the love you hold for yourself. Purpose emerges as you live fully in self-love. When you honor your needs, boundaries, and passions, your life begins to align with your deepest values. Work, creativity, and daily actions no longer feel like chores, but become extensions of your authentic self. Purpose gives your self-love direction, transforming it from a private practice into a force that shapes the world around you. Self-love also manifests in forgiveness of yourself and others. Holding on to anger, regret, or resentment drains your energy and obscures your worth. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing. It means releasing the heavy weight of the past to reclaim your power. When you forgive, you create space for growth, peace, and deeper joy. Self-love thrives in the lightness of a heart unburdened by unnecessary pain. A life lived in self-love is radiant and expansive. It is marked by clarity, resilience, and a quiet confidence that does not depend on external validation. It allows you to navigate challenges with grace, to celebrate successes without ego, and to remain centered in your intrinsic worth, regardless of circumstance. Each day becomes an opportunity to express love for yourself and through yourself to the world. Practical application is essential. Make a daily ritual of affirming your worth, listening to your body, nurturing your mind, and honoring your soul. Journal your reflections, meditate, move your body joyfully, and embrace moments of solitude. Speak kindly to yourself, celebrate small victories, and treat yourself with the care you would extend to someone you cherish deeply. These actions, repeated over time, create a life in which self-love is lived, felt, and evident in every choice. As we conclude this journey, recognize that self-love is not linear. There will be moments of doubt, of struggle, and of returning to old patterns. This is natural. What matters is that you continue to return to yourself, gently and firmly, each time. The practice of self-love is resilient because it is rooted in the truth of your value, a truth that cannot be diminished by circumstance, opinion, or challenge. Look at yourself now, not as you once were, but as the person who has cultivated awareness, nurtured growth, and embraced the full spectrum of your being. You have learned to prioritize your needs, protect your energy, and celebrate your worth. You have understood that self-love is a daily commitment, an unfolding journey, not a destination. As you step into each new day, carry this knowledge: you are the most important relationship of your life. Your love for yourself shapes your experiences, influences your relationships, and radiates outward, touching everything around you. Live boldly, live fully, love yourself more than anyone else, fiercely and unapologetically. The horizon you imagined at the beginning of this chapter is not distant. It exists now, within you. Each choice, each act of care, each moment of awareness brings you closer to the life you were always meant to live, a life of unshakable self-love, clarity, and joy. Step forward, open your heart, live your truth, and let your love for yourself illuminate everything you touch.